So we're back with another KSP video. This was a regular moon mission. I did have a few hiccups, and so I decided to have some fun with it because, you know, it's a video game after all. Let's have some fun. So I decided to do this. This is just a sneak peek. I did not get it first try, but we got it to work eventually. But we're gonna get into the video right now, and I hope you guys enjoy. This is just a regular moon mission, basically, with a couple hiccups, which is typical for any type of mission. To be honest with you, you have to expect that. So it's all about how you fix the problems and the fun that you make out of the problems. So this is the build that we are using to get the mission done. I did speed it up 8 times speed because I don't believe you guys would want to watch 10 minutes of me building a rocket. And if you do, then you could just slow the YouTube video down. This is not stock KSP. These parts are modded. I have mods as well, such as tweak scale, so that way I can make things either bigger or smaller. I do also have a lot of visual mods, and there's just a bunch of mods. If you guys want the mods, I could let you guys know. I also have the 2 DLCs as well, so if you're gonna want to copy the build, you're gonna have to have those, I'm pretty sure. But we didn't use any of those parts, I don't believe, in this build, but I don't know if the craft would work the same. I'm not too sure about that. But now we're coming towards the end of the build. We just made the aerodynamics fine. Now we're gonna have to put some more fins on there just to make the boosters aligned as well. Then we're gonna put that, gonna change to a scientist so we could you know, redo our experiments, and then we changed our staging as well. I'm a little bit behind on there, but so now we're going to the launch pad. This is the launch. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're making sure we have an optimal window, I suppose, but we already checked it beforehand, and now it changed to 6 hours. So I figured that we just barely missed the window. So we're just gonna launch anyway, and we're gonna, you know, adjust the approach as needed. But we're not gonna wait another 6 hours because we slightly missed the window. That's ridiculous, you know. Anyway, we're back to a slightly sped up clip. This is, I believe, 4x speed. Just for the initial launch, I might speed it up a little bit because this video is going to be pretty long. But slow it down for the nice view right there. And the separation, of course. Beautiful separation there. I guess I could talk about the stuff that I'm currently staring at. So if you look at the bottom left, you can see the apoapsis, periapsis. Okay, so what I'm staring at is the time under apoapsis. I'm trying to keep that time around 1 minute. And the apoapsis height, you can go for whatever you want. I typically go for 80 to 100. 70 km is when the atmosphere actually starts, so I like to get a little bit above that, so you don't have to worry about anything, really. Honestly, you really don't. After you get it there, you're fine. You can time warp, everything is going to be fine. So we're gonna get that to, I believe, 80. I can't remember exactly when I was recording this exactly what height I got to, but you could see that the apoapsis time was shrinking there for a little bit, so we aimed up a tiny bit, as you can see, and it's now counting up, which is good. We want to keep that around 1 minute, which is easy to do if you pay attention the entire time, but you know, we didn't really do that here. But this is the orbit. I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the clip here in a second, and we're gonna get to the actual ejection burn. So now we're doing the circularization burn, and I have it sped up 8x because this takes a little bit. Now we're going for the actual moon approach here. And so here comes the ejection burn. As you can see, the moon is in front of us. That's how you know you're burning at the right time. What I was going to do here with the alarm clock, since I always forget, I was going to add a alarm, and occasionally I will be paying attention to something. Like right now I'm pretty sure I was paying attention to the start burn, and I wasn't looking at the alarm clock taking up so much space. The second I realized it, I put that shit away, but sorry about that being in the screen for that long. We're fixing the I believe it's called the eccentricity, something like that. So now we're gonna get there. We're gonna time warp in game. I'm 90% sure, so I'm not gonna bother fast forwarding the editing software. So we're gonna make a maneuver at the moon before then, and that's the circularization burn as well. We're trying to make sure it's circular. And there goes the timer so I don't mess anything up. And here we are. Very, very quick. That's the beauty of time warping. And the only problem is with that is once you enter another sphere of influence, it does slow your time warp down a little bit. So you want to be careful not to click it too much when you speed it back up, because you will fly past what you're trying to get to. It kind of sucks. I've had it happen multiple times, and it's nothing beautiful, because then you have to slow down further up, and it just wastes a lot more fuel, and typically you don't have that much fuel. You have enough for maybe a couple mistakes, not one huge mistake, you know. Anyway, here comes the maneuver. I highly doubt I wait 40 seconds to burn. I'm pretty sure I will speed it up. And if not, we could just talk about what I decide to do later on. So we're trying to find a place to land, and that's easier said than done on the Mun, because its surface has a lot of rocks, and if you have a mod that has collision with objects like that, it makes it a lot more difficult to land and find a flat place and not tilt over. So I'm pretty sure we had to move 2 times, and then we finally we're settled with a spot. And I kind of saw that as an opportunity to have some fun, because you'll see the place that I was trying to land at is it's a pretty cool place. So I was disappointed that I couldn't do anything with the original landing spot, so I had to make something up, and we did in fact make something up, and it was really fun. I recommend anybody who's bored just try something random like that, because if you don't do anything new, it's just gonna be the same thing over and over and over. I mean, it's a video game after all. You wouldn't want to do something like this in real life, obviously, but it is a video game, and you could test your skills over and over with the quick save feature, and you could just have some fun, mess around. You know what I mean? And that's what we did here. Collecting science, obviously. I'm going to go ahead and speed the clip up until we get closer to landing. So we're back at 4x speed because this kind of drags, I'm not going to lie. All the science gathering, and then I have to fix an action group. It's a whole process because I forgot that was part of the build process. You have to check everything. You have to check the staging, you have to check the groups, you have to check everything. You have to check absolutely everything, because if not, you're going to be doing that in the flight, and it's going to take so long, and it's so obnoxious to do, so make sure you do that. Anyway, we're going for that little ravine looking thing, if you might. Just because it's cool, you know what I mean? Here goes the final, I guess, tweaking of the approach. I'm still figuring out where I want to land. As you can see, it's not very obvious, but it will be, if you look right towards the left side of that antenna and solar panel, it's going to be that crater right there. So, originally we tried landing on the cliff face of said crater. It doesn't work at all. It wasn't really the cliff face, it was more of the edge. I apologize, that's the wrong thing, but I don't want to land down there at first because, it's cooler to look down upon something, if that makes sense. So we're slowing ourselves down, and I changed my mind quite literally last second, and so now we're going over to the side. And we're going to slow back down the clip speed. And so here's the landing. Spoiler alert, no, we do not land the first try. Well, the first try technically, as in we don't load any saves or anything. We just have to keep moving a little bit, if that makes sense, to prevent falling over and being stuck here and having a new surface base. And so I do have some wisdom for everybody. If you're gonna fall over, put your fucking engine maximum throttle, okay? You will get away, and then you turn it off after you're a little bit off the ground, and you go for another landing. You're gonna want to go onto retrograde with the SAS, but when you're about to land, you want to get off of that. Typically, I press the T key button, which is the SAS button, 2 times. One time to turn it off, one time to turn it back on, so that way it gets off of the retrograde vector quicker. Or you can just use your mouse, but in the heat of the moment, it's quicker to just press T 2 times. And that way it gets off of the retrogrades, because when you're landing, the retrograde will move around, and you don't want to land crooked. So you'll see when I land down here that I do the exact same thing. I'm pretty sure I press the T twice to get the SAS off and then on again. It's definitely useful having retrograde on the SAS, but as soon as you're about to land, it will mess you up, and you will tilt over every single time, because it's trying to follow the exact node of retrograde. attention to the nav ball on the bottom, you will see that in prime time, So it's better to just line yourself up with the surface exactly. In fact, I don't believe I actually used the retrograde now that I look back at it. But you don't really need to pay attention to that node. Just make sure you're flat, your speed is slow, and you'll be fine. See how soft that landing is, and see how much the retrograde node was moving around on that nav ball. You would have been following it that entire time and moving all over the place. So you want to be able to learn how not to have that happen. So now we're collecting the science. And this is when the bright idea comes into my head. Okay? I figure I'm going to collect everything and restore whatever you do, And you will see the bright idea that I have. I signed myself up willingly for a 12-minute stroll to the top of the crater. Okay? So don't ask why I did this. I have no idea, other than, like I said earlier, fun, exploration, spending more time on the surface, you know what I mean? Usually I land there, I just collect what I need, and then I leave, it's always so boring. It feels pointless landing almost. I decided to do something different than what I would typically do. And like I said, this was a 12-minute walk. Okay? So now it's at 8x speed because 4x was way too long. It was taking too long. You know what I mean? So, let me explain myself, okay? A lot of you are probably thinking, why aren't you using RCS? It would have been quicker. It would have taken, my fuel. I need the fuel because what I'm trying to do requires RCS fuel for my jetpack, okay? And so I decided to save it as much as I can. Right there, you see how quick it would have been if I used it the whole time? But I have my resources on that top right open so you can see how quickly it drains. Also, I thought that rock was going to have collision. I don't know why the smaller ones have collision and the bigger ones don't. It makes no sense. But I was going to use it as like a big jump boost and it was going to get me on the top of the crater. But, so as you can see, we use it for the rest of the time. We got 2.18. I don't know the measurements of that fuel. But yeah, that's how much we got left. And so here's the fun. Okay. I decide I want to fly past, I believe it was Bob, I'm not sure. It was a scientist. I don't want to misname him or anything, but it's okay. He's a Kerbal after all, right? So we decided that we're gonna try to fly over to him, and he's gonna try to, I guess it would be the same as a docking maneuver. He's gonna try to dock with us mid-flight while not falling and, dying, and also the rocket falling and blowing up. So this is the fun. This right here is the fun part of the mission. So we have it sped up 2x speed because I do mess up a couple times. As you can see right here, I mess up. It was going a lot slower without having 2x speed, obviously. That was a dumb mistake when it looks sped up. But either way, it is a dumb mistake. But it's all part of learning, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to risk people's life as a fever dream, and then you rewind time and it never happened. So this time we're going for another approach. We're gonna put ourselves all the way up and hopefully fall back down onto the rocket. this also doesn't really work very well, I'm going to be honest with you. But at least we tried. We got very, very close. But as you can see, the target velocity here is insanely quick, okay? Like, insanely fast. You're never going to be able to slow down. Like, I almost just died right there, okay? Because of how quick we were going. We did get very close. That's how I knew it was actually going to be possible. I just have to maintain my speed a little bit better. So maintaining our speed is the goal here. By that, I mean, I have to think of how long it would take for an EVA jetpack to go, say, right now I'm going to have it at 40 meters a second. How long will it take for a jetpack to start going 40 meters a second? A pretty long time, okay? It could probably go 1 meter a second, so that's 40 seconds. Maybe if I press all the buttons at once, like up and down. No, wait, I apologize. Up and sideways, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. About like 2, maybe 3 meters a second it could go. Actually, I apologize. But as you can tell, we're getting so close, and to no avail, because look at the target velocity again. It's 50. It was 50. How long is it going to take to go 50 meters a second with a jetpack? So we're slowing ourselves down relative to the target currently, but we're going to be speeding back up as we fall back down the face of the crater here. So now we're going 30 meters a second. That's doable. As you can see, it's lining up. We're going at a nice stable approach here. This is basically docking above the surface while both of you are falling back down. Just edging it there, as you can see. And there you go, we board. And do we crash? Do we crash, guys? The answer is no. We do not crash, and we get out of here after doing that. Can you imagine being able to say that you successfully did something like that as a Kerbal? Like, this guy is gonna go home and tell his wife and kids, and they're not gonna believe him. He doesn't believe himself. Look at him. He has a frown on. He can't believe what happened. Okay? He's shocked. I'm shocked. I was shocked when it worked that well. So now here's the re-entry coming in into Kerbin's sphere of influence in a minute here. You can see the Earth rising right there, which is very, very, very cool. So I sped it up 8x speed because it takes a little while, and the video is already 23 minutes long, almost 20. It's probably going to be a 26-minute video, which is 2 minutes shorter than the other one, which is very, very good. Anyway, I might as well just start saying my thanks, I guess, for watching the video if you see this part. As you can see, we're using the RCS, obviously, like usual. My signature move. It's my favorite thing. Anyway, I appreciate whoever made it this far in the video. I hope at least I gave you an idea of something to do in this game, because it does get very repetitive. So maybe that'll give someone something to do. But here's the first aero braking out of, I believe, 3 of them. or maybe even just 2. I'm not quite sure. Probably 3. But eventually we're going to be going on further into the system. But it's hard currently because that the relay antennas don't really work. I don't know why. I have to figure it out. And I have to figure out a actual relay network. But here's the actual re-entry here. And we're going to deploy our drogue chutes in a second. And then that's it. That's the mission. That is the mission. I hope everyone enjoyed the parkour that we did there and got inspired somehow. But thanks for watching.